Hello everybody, welcome to Era Wrestling. Daniel Terry along with my co-host
John
Diamond. And John, we're going to be back with Cookeville, Tennessee's PPW this week, showing you a match from there.
Yeah, before we get into that, let's talk about what happened last week.
Okay.
Mountain Man, Payne.
Yeah.
Rick Roberts had no business out there. Raven Lee had no business out there.
Well, I agree for once with you. I don't think they had any business being out there either. I don't know what's going to go on in terms of, right now our TV is in pretty much disarray. We don't know from week to week if we're going to be able to have a winner in a match or not. It seems like our top guys right now, they can't buy a win if they just hit the lottery.
Well, I mean, let's look back just a little bit. I mean, you had Payne taking on Deathstalker. Draven Lee runs in. No reason whatsoever.
Right.
You have Rick Roberts and Draven Lee. Mountain Man comes out.
Well, you had Draven Lee in a match in Wartburg and Payne coming out.
Well, he helped him up first.
He helped him up first so he could chokeslam him.
That's neither here nor there.
It's the same thing. The point that I'm making on that is
People hate each other.
Payne is feeling the pressure of having to put that belt up, and he's trying to achieve any kind of edge that he can over Draven Lee coming into this big title match they've got coming up. So, he's trying to get in his head. I understand that. Every wrestler's been guilty of that. I've done it myself. But we're getting to a point in our wrestling right now where we're going to have to get these guys simmered down going into some really big shows that we've got coming up. We got to give you guys at home a clear-cut victory.
Yeah, what's the beef here with Rick Roberts and Mountain Man?
It's a history thing, and I'm not real big on going into history lessons, but the simple fact of the matter is they don't like each other.
That's a good enough reason.
Well, sure it is. But I tell you, I'm looking forward to seeing how all that culminates. I think if Rick Roberts had his way, they just put those guys somewhere and just let them have it out and see who wins, and I think everybody would be satisfied with it.
Well, speaking of him, I know we got that PPW show in Cookeville, air on the road segment, but tonight's main event is Rick Roberts and Jordan Christopher.
Which that's an interesting matchup. Jordan Christopher is a guy who, like Draven Lee, is on a hot streak right now. He's got some huge victories. His biggest victory to date, I would say, probably came in Wartburg when he defeated the Deathstalker.
That was a surprise.
I'm sure it surprised Paul Buchanan. We should point out. Well, that's what I was just getting ready to say. We should point out that Paul Buchanan had as much to do with the Deathstalker getting beat as the Deathstalker did. Probably more. But Jordan Christopher did beat him. He's on a hot streak right now. He's got to be looked at in terms of the office as a guy who's got to be in line for a title shot.
I gotta agree with you.
I mean, I think it was last week, we had a gentleman emailed us and asked the question, how do you get the contenders for the title? Well, that's how you do it. You win matches.
Well, what's it going to do for Rick Roberts if he defeats Jordan Christopher?
I think he catapults himself up to at least some contention for the title. But we've got that big PPW match coming up next. The guy we're familiar with, Caleb Courageous, and a guy we've seen here on Air TV in the past, Revick Hollister. Now, Revick's got an ace up his sleeve, so to speak.
Couple.
Yeah.
His brother Prada is at ringside. His manager, Jonathan Quincy DeMarco.
I'm glad you remembered that.
his personal cameraman is standing out there.
I could never remember the guy's name. I do know that he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, myself included. I don't think you even like him that good. But we're going to go ahead and take you folks up to the ring. But before we do, I want to remind you, November 10th.
Oneida High School.
Oneida High School, 7 p.m. The biggest match already announced. Draven Lee gets his shot. Television Championship versus Payne. And some other big matches to be announced in the coming weeks. And folks, you're not going to want to miss that. November 10th, Oneida High School. Bell time's going to be 7 p.m. We're going to go ahead and take you up to the ring.
All right, John, here we are, Cookeville, Tennessee, and we're going to get to see a familiar face here, Caleb Courageous, and he's going to be taking on Revick Hollister.
Looks like Caleb's a little outnumbered, though.
Well, you know, we got to see a little bit of Revick a couple of weeks back, I guess it was, or a few weeks back, when we saw his brother take on Draven Lee.
Yeah, and just like last time, I suspect this is going to be a numbers game. I mean, he's got his brother out there, Prada. He's got JQD as manager. There's a cameraman standing out there. I don't know his purpose exactly, but he's there. Caleb is heavily outnumbered.
Well, that's right, John. He is, and we know that the Hollisters and their manager knows how to play that numbers game.
But right now, Caleb Courageous does have the upper hand. He's got side headlock locked on. You can tell JQD is not pleased with it.
Well, the thing about it is they've got so many people. You know, you've at least got two guys out there on usually either side of you. Even if they never get involved in a match, they never do anything, John. It's just you have to consume so much of your attention on them other than being in the ring with the guy that you're in there with and focusing on him. It's such a disadvantage to the guy.
Yeah, I'd say Caleb has no idea where to be looking at this point. I mean, it's not like they group together in one corner either. They're everywhere. They're constantly walking around the ring. You would think the referee would just toss them out. I mean, I'm sure they're all not licensed managers to be standing out there.
Well, it looked like the previous move that you saw. Caleb tried to take the leg out of Revick, and he kind of sidestepped it. And here you got a Hurricane Rana. And I'll tell you something, folks. Caleb Courageous, very, very agile.
But, I mean, from what I know about Revick, which is very little, I mean, he seems to be a fairly agile guy himself.
Well, yeah. You can tell he's very fit. He's very trim in the ring. I don't know really how much experience the Hollisters have.
Now that I don't know either.
But now I do know that they got a lot of talent.
And you got to think that's going to come into play. I mean, you've got not just talent, but once again, numbers. Look at Prada. He's on the apron already. Referee is in his face.
Well, now, John, we're getting very close to have to take a break. And
he's off the apron.
Folks, we're going to be right back. On November 10th, Era Wrestling returns to the Oneida High School gym. As Draven Lee looks to realize a dream, he'll have to defeat Payne, the reigning and two-time Era Wrestling Television Champion. Don't miss this big main event, plus many more great matches. That's at the Oneida High School Gym, November 10th. Bell time 7 p.m. Admission just $5. 6 and under, absolutely free. All right, everybody, welcome back. And right here, John, you see they're putting Prada Hollister and the manager out of here. They're going to let Caleb Courageous and Revick Hollister decide who the winner's going to be on their own.
Well, during the break, there was a lot of double and triple teaming going on Caleb Courageous. The officials finally had enough of it. Cleared ringside, so it's a one-on-one competition. Be honest with you, I don't agree with the decision.
Why wouldn't you agree with the decision? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, his brother was out there for moral support. His
It looked
manager
like
he has a right to be out there. He's his manager.
Well, it looked like it. That's the only reason they was out there is for moral support. They were kicking the man at ringside just while we was on break, John.
Well, I mean, that's strength in numbers. I mean, it's a tactic.
But it's a singles match. It ought to be decided between two guys. That's the way it is.
Well, I'm pretty sure after he took full advantage of his outside help, he would have been the one pinning. So it would be decided by two guys. So that's my logic.
Well, it seems to me Revick Hollister really didn't need him out there. He's having a great showing on his own. I think it should be apparent to everybody at home that he's a very talented young wrestler, and he's going to go farther faster by showing these different promoters on these shows that he can get in there and mix it up with anybody and hold his own, and you're seeing him do it right now.
Yeah, he is. And yet, for some reason, the crowd in attendance don't like him. I don't understand that.
Well, that's kind of because I said it before on the show. He's a little too big for his britches.
He ain't wearing britches.
You know what I'm saying.
I don't agree with his little pose after that. He should have went straight for the cover instead of giving Caleb a second to catch his breath.
Well, that's the whole point that I'm trying to make, you know. Wrestling's all about winning. And if everything you're doing is not geared towards winning, you're making a mistake.
Well, I mean, I could agree with that. I mean, your whole goal is to win a match. Oh, big DDT. Now, see, Caleb, he's not in a position to take advantage either because he's hurt. You can see him holding his knee there. If he wasn't injured, I think he might have had a chance to get the 3 count if he could have capitalized.
Caleb's got a history of having a little bit of knee trouble. I'm not really clear. We haven't got a chance to talk to him today. I'm not really clear what happened to it, or if it's just a flare-up or a new injury. And there you see a big move from Caleb Courageous coming off the rope, and that could do it if he could get enough sense about him to make the cover right now.
1, 2, no!
And he barely got out of that.
Close but no cigar.
If you got to think, if Caleb would have immediately made the cover, that might have been it.
I agree, it could have been. I mean, that was a huge flipping neck breaker off the ropes. He could have got to 3 if he was able to make the cover. Well, what's Revick setting up here? Power bomb?
Looks like it, and hit it. I thought Caleb was going to come out of that.
Nope. Sunset flip. Nope. 2 count.
You know, I'm just wondering when he hit the first power bomb if maybe Caleb didn't hold on somewhere or another and he didn't get the full force of that. Because
that's what it looked like.
Well, I tell you, I've seen a lot of power bombs, and usually guys don't get up from those that easy.
Especially when the guy giving the power bomb is someone like Paint.
Well, I knew that we wouldn't get through a match without pain being brought up in it. But anyway, big move right there. Caleb, once again though, not been able to capitalize.
Nah, he hit that great enziguri, but he's in too much pain to take advantage. At this point, both men are out. I mean, they're barely can't get up.
Well, here you see Caleb going to the forearms. He's going to give him the Irish whip into the corner and misses it. And why would he go for something and use that injured knee?
I have no idea. He's just adding injury to it.
And here you see Revit.
He's going for
gonna
cover
go
himself.
for a cover. And I
think he got the rope.
he did. He got the rope, but I'm gonna tell you something. The ref, do you think he's a little slow on that? I mean, not trying to stir up controversy, but it did somewhat look like a little bit of a slow count.
Well,
but
I agree.
Here you got Caleb coming back right here, gonna give him another
Nice
whip off
reversal.
the ropes and into the corner. And what do we got right here?
Oh, double knee.
Knees, and that's what he was going for earlier. We've seen him
What's
in
he going
air
for here?
wrestling do the same move. And did he get him?
That's a 3.
That's a 3 count. And here we got our winner, folks. We'll be right back. Would you like to see Era Wrestling for free? All you have to do, head over to EraWrestling.com, send us a question or comment, and if we read it on the air, you'll receive a free admission to an Era event. Head on over to EraWrestling.com now. On November 10th, Era Wrestling returns to the Oneida High School gym. As Draven Lee looks to realize a dream, he'll have to defeat Pain, the reigning and 2-time Era Wrestling Television Champion. Don't miss this big main event, plus many more great matches. That's at the Oneida High School gym, November 10th. Bell time 7 p.m. Admission just $5. 6 and under, absolutely free.
Why they show a commercial again? Next week.
Why are you griping about it again?
They're showing him, it's the same commercial. Showing him beating on Pain from years ago.
Are you telling me that you don't like seeing the same commercial? How many times have I had to suffer through this Pain commercial?
That ain't me. I ain't doing it.
Well, I ain't doing it either.
What's so great about Dexter York anyway? Showing up next week. I hope he had a flat tire and he make it.
John, we're Era Wrestling in the office, trying to get the best talent we can. Fact of the matter is, bottom line is, Dexter York's one of the best talents.
You've already got the best talent. Pain.
He can't provide the people at home solely by himself with a product. He cannot have a match with himself.
If they would let him, he would.
I'm sure he would. You think people will buy a ticket to see that? People will hold on. Listen, we're on the air. We're not going to do this. Well, I know you don't care. That's probably the biggest problem we have right now in Era Wrestling. Better start caring because we want to please those folks on the other side of the camera.
Go ahead and do your show.
It's your show too, by the way. But anyway, a big win for Caleb Courageous.
Yeah, he was outnumbered by quite a bit.
Yeah, but we did see PPW officials step in and even things out.
That's true.
And a good job. We want to commend PPW a whole lot like Era Wrestling, trying to level the playing field and make sure the best athletes win in the match.
And, I mean, the crowd seemed to enjoy it. They don't like Revit. They don't like Prada. They don't like JQD. But they like Caleb. So they were happy.
Well, and that's, bottom line, like I said, please that customer. And that's what we want to do. But John, let's touch just for a second on what we got coming up.
Main event here. We talked about briefly a minute ago. Rick Roberts and Jordan Christopher, the oddest pairing you probably could think of.
How in the world, I don't understand how the office put Rick in the ring with Jordan anyway, but
I wonder who they're testing there.
I really don't know. You know, Rick came back out of nowhere. I don't even think he's. Well, I don't think he signed a contract. Surely they got him signed to some sort of a short contract.
Maybe it's per basis, you know, per appearance or something. I don't know.
Well, it's something like that because Rick doesn't even show up with his bag when he comes in the door.
Oh, he's worried about the mountain.
Yeah, he shows up with whatever he's wearing, and he pulls his shirt off and gets in the ring. You know, which.
Wish you'd leave your shirt on.
But anyway, I'm really looking forward to seeing how Rick handles himself. Like I said earlier, Jordan Christopher on a big hot streak right now. Rick Roberts gets a win against Jordan Christopher. All of a sudden, you may be talking about Rick Roberts coming up here in the very near future in title contention.
Well, you got to flip that coin too, though. I mean, Rick Roberts, he's a seasoned veteran. He's been doing this a long time. I mean, if Jordan Christopher beats him, just think about what that does for him.
He is a veteran, and you know, I think Rick's got to be considered maybe to be the favorite.
I would say.
We'll just have to see. We'll have to see how Jordan Christopher contends with the style that Rick Roberts brings to the ring.
Jordan Christopher going there, he'll try to compete with Rick Roberts to get a victory. Rick Roberts, on the other hand, if he has to break his neck to win the match, he'll do it. He don't care. We've
known that from experience over the last few years with Rick Roberts. He's very, very interested in getting the win. But I guess we need to get on up to the ring and let the folks see what we're talking about.
Well, before we do, I got to remind everybody, Draven Lee signed a death warrant. November 10th, he's finally getting his shot at the Air Television Championship against Payne. Biggest mistake of his life takes place. Oneida, the Oneida High School, 7 p.m. Admission's only $5, right? Children ages 6 and under is free. So there's no reason not to come out and see Draven Lee's last match.
Well, or if you're like me and subscribe to my point of view, come out and see a new TV champion crown.
But I don't see that. Let's just go to the ring.
Okay, welcome back everyone, and John, here we are. We're showing a match from Oneida, Tennessee, and we're going to have Rick Roberts, a longtime veteran of the ring, taking on Jordan Christopher. Seen Jordan a lot here in Air Wrestling. Really impressed with Jordan, but I'm going to tell you something. Rick Roberts knows every trick there is.
See, Rick Roberts, what he has to do here to win this match is sneeze. Jordan will fly clean out of the ring.
John,
automatic.
Come on, man.
He'll get the 10 count. He'll win by count out. Simple as that.
There you see a big chop by Rick Roberts, and that's one of the things he's known for. He's known for punishing his opponent.
I'm pretty sure that last chop bruised Jordan's back. He hit him so hard.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't doubt it a bit, John. That was a hard shot, and Rick Roberts looks like he's going to focus on beating Jordan down in this match.
Well, that's what Rick Roberts focuses on all the time. Just beating.
And a big drop kick by Jordan. And Rick Roberts looks to be somewhat reeling right here.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but did I just see Paul Buchanan walking around here?
Well, I didn't notice it. I mean, was he in camera shot? Or?
I think he walked by. Is he scouting?
I don't know. He could be. I can tell you this. Rick Roberts would probably be a definite factor in Paul Buchanan's organization.
If he could stand to be around Paul Buchanan for more than 5 seconds.
Well, that's the issue that everybody has.
And I honestly think if he's scouting during this match, it really doesn't matter which one he's scouting, because I think he's barking up the wrong tree. Yeah, so you can see Paul Buchanan standing over right now. It looks like he's filming it with his camera phone.
And here you've seen Rick Roberts getting hung up in the ropes, and you better be glad he did, or he'd been busting his noggin on the floor.
Yep.
And an
Comes
elbow
off
by
the apron
Jordan.
with it.
And he's got things going his way right now, John.
I'm just wanting to know what Paul Buchanan's doing out here. I mean, Scouting's the only thing I could think of, but I don't really see either one of these men listening to him.
Well, I don't really see Jordan Christopher fitting in much with
No.
Paul Buchanan. That's why I immediately jumped to the conclusion maybe he was out here scouting Rick. But honestly, it seems that Rick is so focused on Mountain Man. I'm even surprised he took a match.
Yeah, I am too.
And here you see him continuing to, I would say put the boots to Jordan, but Rick saw fit to not even wear his gear again this week. I don't know what's going on with that, but I'll tell you something, Rick could be a major force if he gets serious and quit worrying about Mountain Man.
It looks to me like the Rick Roberts we see nowadays, he just wants to fight, and he wants to fight Mountain Man. That's all he's worried about. He's not worried about winning a wrestling match. He just wants to beat somebody up so he can get one step closer to Mountain Man.
And Jordan Christopher landed some big shots, and yeah, a leg drop going for a cover.
That could be a 3. 1, 2, no. Close.
Well, I have to say, I can't recall Rick Roberts getting beat with a leg drop.
Well, me either. Especially a 25-pound leg drop.
And here comes Jordan Christopher. Looks like he's going to come off the top.
Big elbow.
And, yeah, big elbow. 2 and 8.
Oh,
whoa.
I wondered for a second.
And Rick's worse for wear. You know, after a long layoff, like Rick's had, I'm going to tell you something. Here we got company, but I was just going to say he's got to be sucking wind right here. And he's still going right out after the Mountain Man. And I don't know what the referee's going to do with this right here. I'm assuming that
I think he threw it out.
Well, I mean, he never entered the ring. Rick come out of the ring. I'm assuming Jordan Christopher's your winner?
I think it's no contest. I mean, who could have won here?
Well, if I was the official, I would administer the count out. If you're participating in a match, there's no reason why you would go out like that.
No. But like we said a minute ago, Rick Roberts, all he's focused on is Mountain Man.
And this is getting to be a huge problem, John. We're gonna have to do something about this.
I agree. I mean, the J.J. Wendell or whoever, they need to do something about it.
Well, we're getting close to time. We're gonna have to get out of here. But John, in closing, we are going to have to get the office to take a look at this.
I agree. Every week it's like this.
Well, folks, we apologize for this, but we are out of time. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next week.